And good morning and welcome. This is Things You Might Not Have Heard for this day. I'm Jake Payne, and we're going to present to you in just a moment the best, or some of the best, I should say, in yesterday's latest for information, politics, current events, and pop culture as your go-to supplemental source of news, both mainstream and unconventional. We are glad to be here as your news side piece, giving you these updates every single weekday morning to get you started on your day. We're going to talk some Taylor Swift in a way that you may have never thought of, but if you're a Swiftie, this may be the most brilliant plan ever. And we have that plus 7 other stories, headlines that were curated by you, and then, or vetted by you, I should say, then curated by me to make the 8 stories you made into this presentation today. Go to our website, thisisaconversationproject.com, for more details on all the things we do, up, down, and all around the scenes for the Conversation Project, including this 5-day-a-week broadcast, whether it's live video, recorded video, or the podcast audio, and the weekend editions, including 10 things you might have heard. The top 10 weekly wrap-up and the story of the week. Now, let's get into the stories for today, which are technically stories from yesterday. 8 stories vetted by you, created by me. Of course, today happens to be Friday, June 2nd, 2023. Speaking too fast there. This may be one of the better shows because the robot editor gave me a lot of really short, pithy things, so I might actually stick to the script and make it short. Or I might go long because that happens. We shall see. We shall see. Thank you to all the folks who have popped in and who have stopped by from the in the Black podcast as I was on that this week, and of course just anybody who's found us via the internet and the subscribers we've had lately via the TikTok fun stuff. Now, Taylor Swift is the top story. Not really the top getting story, but the top story because everybody loves Taylor Swift, and they love her so much that fans say they're wearing adult diapers to her shows so they don't miss any songs. Yes, Taylor Swift is having a crisis of many fans being really old and having to pee a lot, and them fighting the feeling by literally not fighting the feeling. You just go do what they got to do. Literally. Swift fans are attending shows wearing adult diapers because they don't want to miss a single song in the set. Now, many folks are sharing along the line some of the bathroom break songs, some things where there's pauses in the action, where there's long monologues, things to do like that. You see a lot of those on Reddit. But some people just don't want to miss a moment. They're paying so much money for these Taylor Swift tickets. They don't want to miss a moment of the experience, and they are doing it themselves. Literally. On themselves. There you go. Our next story, a bit more of a serious story, and this is one that had my head scratching for a while until I really got deeper into it. SpaceX Starlink wins Pentagon contract for satellite services to Ukraine. Now, the SpaceX Starlink satellite communication service, which was started by billionaire Elon Musk, has a Department of Defense contract to buy those satellite services for Ukraine, the Pentagon said on yesterday. Starlink has been used by Ukrainian troops for a variety of efforts, including battlefield communications. Here's the thing about this. Basically, Elon Musk had these things up in the sky, and then the Ukraine war started, and he wanted to get kind of stingy, which he had the right to, but Ukrainians were actually depending on this for their battle stuff. And then it was like, well, I'm spending $20 million a month on these things, and I don't really take any sides, and, Russia's not all that bad, and yada, 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 and whatever. And so he has literally threatened to cut off the Ukrainians until somebody pays the bill. The Pentagon will now pay the bill. Now, this is good for Elon Musk, who could use a little cash. This is good for Ukrainians who could use some support. This may not be good for our relationships with Russia, as we are doing more to support Ukrainians. We're not buying them outright weapons. We're not putting the troops on the ground, but we're doing more to support them and their struggle to survive in this war that's going on. Although it seems like less of a struggle these days, but we don't really know everything behind the scenes in the war zones. Shannon Sharpe is leaving Fox Sports 1, to be specific, Undisputed. Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless had a public friction a few months ago over Damar Hamlin's collapsing on the field during the Buffalo Bills football game. And from that, Uncle Shannon decided not to show up for work next day to let Skip deal with it on his own. There's been a couple of those occasions lately, and right now we're finding out that Shannon Sharpe is essentially leaving the show. So there'll be one less guy screaming at the TV to deal with going forward, although they'll find somebody else for Bayless to scream at because these shows are extremely cheap to produce and for some reason really popular, or at least they're really cheap to produce, so they're cheap enough that they stay popular. We'll see what happens. Of course, Bayless got to start yelling back and forth with Stephen A. Smith back on ESPN when that relationship split up. Bayless took his show to, or took his ball to, and his game and his talents to Fox Sports 1. Shannon Sharpe actually filled in for Stephen A. back in the day over on the ESPN show, which is basically why they got paired together. Of course, Stephen A. can't get a common host because he's so great or so loud or nobody wants to deal with him. I don't know, but we're gonna have all these offshoots of shows of people talking about stuff and yelling back and forth and essentially doing radio shows and doing the top tens back and forth is a thing. We'll see how much of a thing will be for Undisputed and whether Shannon Sharpe will be branching off to some other sports channel to yell at some other guy, or whether he's gonna go back to doing mostly actual football commentary, which he's great at, along with yelling at other people in general. Always great at that. Journalist Lisa Ling joins CBS News as contributor after 9 years at CNN. We found out this season that there was the last season of Lisa Ling's documentary series on CNN, and with that, she has a new job doing long-form documentary type features for CBS Sunday mornings. That's happening pretty soon. So congratulations for her on that. She, of course, worked at ABC, National Geographic, HBO. She was one of the original members of The View, I think. And has done a lot of great stuff and does great work all around. What this means for CNN, which oddly enough seems to show documentary type stuff in the evenings on Sundays anyway, so I'm not sure why Lisa Ling's show went away. It means for CNN is they're doing more of their push to a brand new fresh coat of paint and new folks in places. I mean, they've gone to Anderson Cooper doing a more newsy thing, but that's still a documentary style of a new stuff, I guess, with the journalist in hand, not with the contractors out with Lisa Ling essentially. And yes, of course, coming soon there will be the show with Barkley and Gayle King, which is going to make no sense whatsoever. But those things are coming. CNN getting a loss, I'd say. CBS getting a gain. How they get to pay for all these people, I don't know. I just would love one of those gigs so I can stop yakking at you on the internet for free. It would be nice. Just saying. You could call me. Here's an interesting story about George Santos, a way to sneak George Santos back into the news. Ex-Aide Derek Myers, fired by George Santos, says he paid for the job. Take a breath, insert that into your processes for a second, let it go through, let your brain kind of wish on that one, and let me give you some details on this story. Derek Myers, 31, told the House's Ethics Subcommittee he sent at least 7 $150 payments to Vish Burna, Santos' director of operations, to help him get a job. The payments raise questions about potential ethical improprieties around Santos. Potential ones, not the ones that are already out there, but the ones that may potentially be, ethic issues. This is the ones that are already out there aren't bad enough. Background checks showed that Myers had been charged with wiretapping in Ohio. He lasted less than a week in the job that they gave him, even after paying, like $1,000. Myers said he was fired after spurning Santos' sexual advances, which is also a reason why he probably didn't last so long. But Santos has denied those allegations. Yes, more. Check out the link for more details. It gets even uglier, even nastier, even just more kind of icky, really fast. And we know that George Santos, more proof or alleged proof, because this is all allegations, that he's a creep and an idiot and just a terrible guy. Let's go back to CNN for a minute. I talked a moment in the last story about Lisa Ling, which is a story about her and CBS. Now let's talk about CNN in particular. CNN loses primetime ratings battle to Newsmax show, guest hosted by Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is doing a little guest stint on the Newsmax channel in the nighttime, and CNN is being beaten by, Butthead on Newsmax. CNN hit a new nadir, that's a big word for low, in ratings as conservative cable channel Newsmax tops CNN star anchor Anderson Cooper in-depth programs. CNN has been attempting to pivot from the left-leaning coverage during the Trump administration, but has seemingly come to an expense of its core audiences. Basically, people were loving the lefty stuff, and now that they're trying to go back to the middle, they want to see more people beating up on the Republicans and Trump. When I say, no real need to it. Like I say, I'm the only person apparently watching CNN, so I guess I'm the worst judge of character on this. However, I'm the only person watching CNN, so I'm getting to see some of the things they're doing, and I'm liking what they're doing in a news-focused project. They're doing things that are news-focused and doing things that are more open, and hell, they're doing Republican debates with people who and even conclude Trump because they're newsworthy, even if Trump is a big black hole of suck for news. However, the guest on the primetime on CNN and CNN in general is losing some heat, especially when they bring in the Republicans. Although, however, they bring in ratings, just not their core audience. That's me as a media, aficionado, an analyst, and a guy who's trying to get a job on CNN. So call me, please. 10-year-old arrested after stealing car, fleeing police on I-75 in Saginaw County. Up in Detroit, up in Illinois, a 10-year-old stole a 2017 Buick Encore from residents in Buena Vista and fled police on I-75 in Saginaw County. The vehicle bumped into a guardrail and came to a stop after the driver was arrested near the crash. That's it. 10-year-old boy on a joyride steals a car, rolls with it. You guys thought it was interesting. The robot editor thought all they needed to know was a 10-year-old boy stole a car. Like I said, one of the shortest versions we got going on. Pithy, keeping it going. Let's roll with that one. Our final story. This one's a crusher. Beloved New York Swan babies rescued after mother was eaten by family, police say. And we did all our best to not do the going explicit for this one. This one's a head scratcher. But here's the basics of the story. Check out the links online. Check the links we have in our description and go deeper into the story because this is a bunch of kids. I don't know who need some home training. Let's put it like that. Police say Faye, that's the actual mother Swan, and this year's cygnets went missing on Saturday, but officials weren't notified until Monday. 2 of the baby swans were found in a store in nearby Salina, and 1 suspect confessed to taking part in the crime, police said. The crime, 3 teenagers ate the mother bird, and I guess they're going to raise the chicks and eat them eventually too. If you're not watching the video, I'm making a really funny face right there. I'm going to do it again just for effect. That's what's going down, or what went down on this story here. Good enough to make it a pithy and quick one. So let's go to our teaser story for the weekend. It's Friday, so this is what we can talk about come Monday, if you deem this story good enough to last the full weekend of shows. Here is that headline. It reads like this. Biden thanks Air Force Academy graduates for choosing service over self. He stumbles after speech. This is the big thing that people have been popping in over social media. Although, let me be honest, probably because all I do is watch CNN, I've not seen much coverage of Biden falling over, except on the social media. I haven't seen a lot of popping up on Fox either, believe it or not, but AP has the report. This story's from AP, and we pulled it off the Yahoo News aggregator with pictures of Biden right there, if you can see it on the video. Him hitting the ground. He basically did a speech, said, "Thank you, folks, peace out, I'm gone," and then went pop, hit the deck. Of course, everyone wants him to not run for president because he's old and he fell down, which old people do, and doesn't disqualify you from being president. Although there are plenty of other things that may disqualify him in the process. We'll see if this is a story that we're chatting up come Monday. If you deem this story worthy enough to last a weekend, you engage in the story as it pops up in your feed, as you see it on your phone or computer, and if you like it enough, you'll stand by. We're going to pick 10 stories from the top 30 stories of engagement all weekend long. That's essentially giving each day about 3.5 stories to kind of pull from on the day, plus a couple hours on Monday morning. And if you deem this one lasting the weekend, we will chat it up come Monday in the edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Go to thisistheconversationproject.com. Find out more details about how the feeds work if you want to, or go straight to the feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/thisistheconversationproject and Twitter.com/th_conversation. If you're watching the video, you see the scroll at the bottom, you see the words above my head. That's where you find the feeds. Go there, and as you check your Facebook and Twitter, engage in the stories that we're putting out there every 50 minutes. Like, love, hate, share. The more engagement the story gets, as I say, the better chance it gets moved up in the rankings so we can chat about it in the next episode. The next episode, because this is Friday, will of course be for Monday morning, 5:50 a.m. Central Time. So, with that, let's start talking about our sponsorship stuff. Sponsorship stuff are really big, and we want you to join in on the fun and frivolity of trading and helping keep us going. We want to talk about Robinhood, the app that's everybody knows about, everybody may probably hates right now. But as the markets start to turn, as money starts to get a little better, and as you want to take more control of your money, it's good to know that you can put a little bit of spare change, or maybe even work on one of their IRA issues. They've got IRAs and other types of things going on now, so they can stay competitive to your advantage. Stop by. This is theconversationproject.com/Robinhood. This is theconversationproject.com/Robinhood, and you can join the app still today. If you're a brand new app user, you can get a free stock. It could be anything from something spectacular to something that's not all that spectacular, but it's a free stock to get you started, and you basically trade for no cost. It's a great way to get in and learn the market. It's a great way to get in and make sure you have some stuff behind you, so you can keep things going to stay up with the market. And of course, you can lose money. That is the big thing. Money, everything does not go up. It's not magic. It's not game stonk to the moon. It's not big time crypto stuff. There is some actual thought process going into these things, and all these things, because it's a market of stocks and securities, is based on speculation. But if you want to invest in a company you believe in, or throw some money at something that you think is going to make you money in the back end, this is a place to do it. As I said, you may lose some money in the process, but it is a risk that you probably have to take for any investment. Also, this link is an affiliate link, so if you use this link to Robinhood, we get a little bit of piece back from you joining Robinhood. It's that simple. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but we get a kickback in the form of affiliate pay for that one. We thank you so much for possibly checking them out. Checking out any of our sponsors at our sponsors page there on our website. But Robinhood is the one we're pushing today. My stocks are looking better. Not great. In fact, I've been trimming down a lot of things that have not been working for a while, because I know they're not going to be there, and that somehow can get some things. One of the good things about my stocks, to be personal, is there's a lot of things that have been flailing for a while that are liquidating and just basically going out of style. So in some cases, they're culling themselves. If you're not into the market, now's a good time to check it out. Don't just listen to what Kramer says. Get into the thing, do some research, buy some things that mean something to you, and see how they work. Let's talk about the Conversation Project at thisistheconversationproject.com, our home on the internets, where you can see what we do 7 days a week, 6 days mostly. 5 days a week, 5 mornings, Monday through Friday, we give you this thing here. On Saturday, we give you 2 other original programs. One, the weekly wrap-up, which is the top 10 stories for the full week based on pure numbers, not by me speculating, moving things around. And the story of the week, which is a commentary, usually going 15, 20 minutes on one of those top stories picked for the week. And then on Sunday, we kind of rest, but we do some other things in the background. Check us out at our website for back issues, for more ways to contact us, and to see if we are worthy enough for your help. If you think we're worthy, go to the partnership link and see if there's a way that we can partner up to work on more things going forward. Check that out at thisistheconversationproject.com. Plus, links for us on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. Find all those things at our website, thisistheconversationproject.com. And now we've done the salesy stuff, we've done the promo stuff. It is time to have some fun. We're going to have some fun right now, starting off with the birthdays for this day, the 2nd of June. Celebrity birthdays, yay! Starting off with the Beaver, Jerry Mathers, turning 75 years old on the day. If you're under 35, you may have to look this up, because there was a time back in the day when there was like never a week you can go without seeing reruns of Leave It to Beaver. And literally it was a joke that Leave It to Beaver reruns were on all the time. Now, it's hard to kind of get the millennials to understand what's there, especially when they're watching those weird little videos and TikToks and watching 20-minute, 30-minute sitcoms in black and white. Seem a little odd. Jerry Mathers, the Beaver, 75 years old on the day. Happy birthday to Wayne Brady, hitting 51 years old on the day, kicking it as a game show host, still doing singing and comedy type stuff, still doing acting. It's amazing how the range that Wayne Brady has, seeing him as, the funny guy and doing a lot of these serious, bad guy types of stuff. I mean, it was spoofed in the Chappelle show when he did that, the skit there, but the fact that he can play the bad guy is amazing. And happy birthday to Awkwafina, who is in the news, doing well with Little Mermaid, playing the new version of Scuttle, no longer Brooklyn bound, although she still has that sort of voice, and still in controversy because she is an Asian person, sort of, blaxploitating people. However, it's her birthday. So none of that's important. She's 35 years old on this day. Happy birthday to you, Awkwafina. And of course, like I said, I've seen The Little Mermaid. I rate it somewhere between I don't hate it and this was entertaining, because it was slightly entertaining, but there were a lot of things, a lot of issues with it that were, not quite at the woke end, but pretty close to being in the woke end, if you know what I mean. So let's go to today's stuff in history. So on June the 2nd, way back, going back to 1896, Guglielmo, that's his name, Guglielmo Marconi received the patent for his newest invention, the radio. You may remember Marconi plays the bonbon. Marconi plays the mamba. Or you may not, because you may be, younger than 35 years old and not heard the song, You Built This City. But yes, the radio invented way back when. You probably don't even care about radio if you're younger than 35. So now I'm just rambling. In 1964, the Rolling Stones kicked off their first American tour at a high school football stadium in Lynn, Massachusetts. That's their part of the British invasion popping up here in 64. And in 1988, singer James Brown's wife Adrienne claimed diplomatic immunity, yes she did, in traffic court because she was the wife of the, quote, official ambassador of Seoul, not recognized by any actual sovereign nation. So it didn't get thrown out. It didn't quite work, but she tried. This June 2nd, today, is National Rotisserie Chicken Day. And you don't have to have a national day to celebrate rotisserie chicken, but it's basically one of the best things since pants on pockets and sliced bread. And the toaster, which we talked about, was patented, this week in history. Rotisserie chicken is the staple for last minute meals. You go to a grocery store, you go to a Walmart, you go to a Target, and there are rotisserie chickens there ready for you to take home, chop up, and serve with vegetables and rice. You can always make a meal from leftover rotisserie chicken. Always make quesadillas and chicken rice and some chicken dumplings. And it's essentially the starter for people who, in this day and age, don't know how to roast a full chicken. I'm raising my hand there as well. Go out there and celebrate Rotisserie Chicken Day today. Now, it's also Friday. Many people, do Pizza Fridays. We have Pizza Fridays here, so I doubt we'll have rotisserie chicken on this day. But I can tell you, guaranteed, sometime in the next few days, a rotisserie chicken will show up in my refrigerator or on my stove, and we'll be eating it for dinner and lunch and chicken salad sandwiches and salads for a while. And finally, one more thing you might not have heard. A major study review found drinking 1 glass of wine, white wine, a day raises the risk of prostate cancer by a quarter. Hear that? Raises the risk of prostate cancer by a quarter. But a daily red wine appeared to slash the chance by developing disease by an eighth. Researchers, Medical University of Vienna, analyzed the boozing habits and medical records of 611,169 men taken from 17 previous studies. Researchers believe the resveratrol, that's the thing in the skin of red grapes, has cancer-fighting properties which counteract the harm of alcohol. There are around 10 times as much in the red as in the white. So that's why white wine, not having enough to fight anything off, can actually raise your risk of prostate cancer just by a quarter, which sounds like a lot because it is, and you can slightly lower it by drinking red. Or you can go see your doctor and just take care of your health in general and drink the wine you want to, because whether you develop or not, it's all about the quality of life. So wine's not going to save your life. Probably. With that, we're going to wrap things up for the Friday edition of Things You Might Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for joining us on this June 2nd, 2023, on the trip through the news from June 1st, oddly enough, 2023. Thank you so much for being a part of us, what we do here for the Conversation Project. Make sure you're around for the weekend. In a few hours, I'll start doing the research, doing the numbers, and starting the recordings and things for the weekend activities, which are the weekly wrap-up, the top 10 stories per you guys specifically, straight-up numbers going across the 7 days, and, of course, the story of the week, the story that jumps out at me from those top 10 stories. It might be a story about Taylor Swift and adult diapers. You won't know until we find out. I won't know until I find out. So we'll find out together, I guess, this weekend. Stop by with us and see us on Monday for more of this stuff, or do 10 stories, of course, from the weekend going through. And you can follow us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/th, or Facebook.com/thisisaconversationproject.com. And Twitter, it's th_conversation. So you can see what stories we're posting, engage in them as we post them every 50 minutes, and we see what stories make the tops. In the meantime, email the show at theconversationinbox@gmail.com, or me at jclevelandpayne@gmail.com, and we can chat things up more or less offline, although it's still online, just offline in the live stuff. Make sure you are staying hydrated, staying limber, and staying on task for grand work you are here to do for the world. We need you here. I need you here. Folks need you here. So be here. Do what you can to be here and not die prematurely, because we need you. And with that, let's wrap it up for the week here on Things You Might Have Heard. I got to chop up some stuff, get some YouTubes and some TikToks going. We will see you Monday morning for more great news stories, great stories of the week. Are we talking Billy Joel, Bill Cosby, more Swan babies? We shall see come Monday.